Mr. Speaker, I rise to support Budget 2021 as presented by the Honorable Senior Minister with responsibility with finance, Dr. Ashley Singh. Allow me, on behalf of the people of Region 5, to congratulate and applaud the Honorable Senior Minister, Dr. Ashley Singh, and staff of the Ministry of Finance for a well-crafted budget. In this budget, Mr. Speaker, every single Guyanese, be the public servants, the teachers, the rice farmers, sugar workers, taxi drivers, nurses, minibus operators, the fisher folk, the pensioners, and yes, even the school children, the private sector and the manufacturing sector will all benefit from Budget 2021. Mr. Speaker, every region, every community, whether you live in Linden in Region 10, or Karasaba in Region 9, or you live in Maracaba in Region 5, or Port Mort in Region 6, every single community will see some sort of infrastructure development in Budget 2021. Mr. Speaker, with the return to office of the PPPC government led by Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, we have seen great expansion in the business community of Region 5, which was dormant and closing during the 5 years of the coalition government. Mr. Speaker, the commercial business in Region 5 is expanded. New business are going up every day since the PPP returned to office. The construction industry in Region 5 is booming. Agriculture development, there's a demand for land in Region 5 because of the program set out by this PPP government as it relates to agriculture. Services are improving and spreading across Region 5. Mr. Speaker, Region 5 has suffered significantly at the hands of the coalition government. We have seen political discrimination in every community that the coalition feel they did not receive support. And Mr. Speaker, I want to share a few of these communities with you. Mr. Speaker, let us look at one NDC, the Blaemont Gilderland NDC. This NDC consists of 4 communities: Ithaca, Zordenhoop, Blaemont, Shieldstone. Mr. Speaker, for 5 years under the PNC rule, because the coalition is now dead, under the PNC rule, not a single infrastructure work was done in Shieldstone, in Blaemont, in Zordenhoop. Not a single infrastructure work was done in 5 years. And yet, they are telling us they have done work across this country. But look what they did to Ithaca. Every single road was paved. Street lights in every corner. Street lights in every corner. The community ground was upgraded. Mr. Speaker, the people of Ithaca deserve to have those things. Similarly, the people of Blaemont, the people of Zordenhoop, and the people of Shieldstone deserve the same treatment. The same treatment. Mr. Speaker, the first week that this de facto government came to office in 2015, by means of fake statement of poll in 2015, they took away the street lights in many communities: Blaemont, Shieldstone, Cotton Tree, Woodley Park, Bad Settlement, Bushlot. Shame, Mr. Speaker. Shame, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just want to draw the comparison. Recently, the Ministry of Local Government, using subvention, bought hundreds of community street lights for Region 5. I know how it was distributed equally equally across the 10 NDC, across the NDC. That is how we operate, because we believe that we are a government for all the people of Guyana. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, in number 40, 41, and 42, small rice farmers, Afro-Guyanese, who were given lease under President Donald Ramatar. When they came to office in 2015, they took these small rice farmers to court. These farmers sought attention with the then President David Granger. They were refused entry to the office of the President. They sought audience with the then Minister of State, now the Honorable Leader of the Opposition. He said he was too busy. Mr. Speaker, these Afro-Guyanese small rice farmers came to us, and we made a representation through the Honorable Anil Nandalal. We took them to the government, the court of the day then, and we were able to restore what is rightfully theirs, rice land. So whether we were concerned about people, Mr. Speaker, in the community of Jordan Hoop, 27 families for 5 years has been pleading with the coalition government for electricity. In this period of pandemic, electricity is important. And instead of assisting these people to give them electricity, they were served with eviction. And honorable members, Mr. Speaker, these people have leased and transported the land, and the government, the coalition government, served them eviction. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to report, with the intervention of the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development and the Ministry of Public Works, work has already commenced to ensure these 27 families receive electricity. That is how we operate. That is how we operate. Mr. Speaker, I have listened to some of the opposition, the honorable members of parliament, and they're using words like democracy. They're using words like good governance. My God, and accountability and honesty. Look at your track record. Look at your track record. Mr. Speaker, they're talking about democracy. Leading up to the 2020 election, they made an attempt to disenfranchise 20,000 residents of Region 5. 20,000 residents from Region 5, stating that these people are not alive. 20,000 in one community of Maracabay. Maracabay has a total of 527 on the voters list. They said 520 does not exist. They died. They died. Just you can imagine how these people operate. They went to Maikoni Creek, places like Garden Table, places like Governor Light, First Savannah, and they tried to disenfranchise. Thanks to the PPP, we stood by those people and ensured that their constitutional right to vote was intact. Mr. Speaker, they're talking about corruption. Mr. Speaker, there are shady deals in a number of government agencies under the coalition. The airport, MARDS, the transport on the harbor, the sea defense, and we can go on. And we can go on. Shady deals. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, the community of Maracabay, when our presidential candidate went there before he became the president, the people expressed in real disgust how they were marginalized, how they were discriminated against by the APNU, the PNC government. We made a commitment there and then that when we take office, we will ensure that community receive equal benefits like any other community across this region. Mr. Speaker, when the APNU government was in office, electricity was limping at 1 hour a day. I'm pleased to say, with a short period of time that the PPP in office, Moroccoba is receiving electricity 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day. The water supply was limping. My colleague, the Honorable Susan Rodriguez, we went in there and we made a commitment. They enjoy potable water in full supply. Expansion of the health center, expansion of the primary school. And Mr. Speaker, I also want to report that a health boat is on its way to Moroccoba. A health boat is on the way to Moroccoba. Mr. Speaker, Mahaika Borbis is perhaps one of the largest agriculture area in our country, with more than 96,000 acres under rice cultivation, 13,000 acres under sugar cultivation, 5,000 acres under cattle pasture, 2,000 acres under cash crop, directly employing a large percentage of the residents in Region 5 in the agriculture sector. Mr. Speaker, in 5 years, Mr. Speaker, the APNU AFC government have destroyed a viable and productive sector. They deliberately allow the drainage and irrigation network to collapse, make the farm to market road impossible. If that was not enough, Mr. Speaker, they raised DNI and land charges between 300 and 700% without any consultation with the farmers. The de facto APNU government stayed true to their colors, true dictators. With the coming to office, Mr. Speaker, of Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali's PBC government, we immediately reverse the harsh and unconscionable decision. Mr. Speaker, what we have achieved in 5 months, the APNU administration did not achieve in 5 years. In five short months, what this government have done for the people of Region 5, you have not done in 5 years. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Agriculture, through the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Zulfikar Mustafa, visit that community in the MMA ADA area, and he immediately pronounced the reversal of those high charges. Land rental went back to $3,500 from $15,000. You know what that would mean, honorable members? $1.5 billion will remain in the pockets of the farmers. $1.5 billion will remain in the pocket of the farmers. And Mr. Speaker, I must confess, that is one of our manifesto promises fulfilled. Mr. Speaker, in addition of reversing the unconscionable rise in land and DNI charges, Mr. Speaker, we have removed VAT on fertilizer, pesticides, weedicides, agriculture machinery, and equipment, which will allow more disposable income into the pockets of our farmers. Mr. Speaker, the visionary leadership of the APNU AFC administration. Less than 3 months of coming to office, Mr. Speaker, the ministry, the PPP administration, the Ministry of Agriculture, through MMA, ADA, were able to create and maintain and clean 60 miles of secondary canals. 60 miles in less than 3 months. And were able to grade and shape 200 miles of road, build 6 bridges and 3 sloughs. This reality came about because the Honorable Minister visited the community. He was not like Noel Holder. When he leaves to go to Region 5, he stay at Toots. That's the farthest he go, Toots. But the Minister of Agriculture went down to the back dam, interacted with the farmers, listened to the farmers, and made on-the-spot decision. Mr. Speaker, with this intervention, it means that farmers will save significantly. It will reduce the time farmers will take to go to their farm. Farmers normally leave during the collation period at 4 o'clock, and they reach their farm at 7 o'clock. Now they can leave at 6 and reach at 7, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, recently a contract was signed for $327 million for the construction of a concrete road at MMAIR 3 area. This initiative, Mr. Speaker, will open up 30,000 acres of land.
To continue with that initiative, you'll need some time.
2,000 farmers, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, with your permission, honorable member needs 5 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member Mr. Jaffarally, you may continue to conclude.
Mr. Speaker, in the area of housing, Mr. Speaker, in 5 years, not a single house lot was developed by the APNU AFC, much as a house lot. The thousands of house lots that are in Region 5 in housing scheme like Bagshak Housing Scheme, Zordamoop Housing Scheme, Block D Housing Scheme, Hope Housing Scheme, Experiment Housing Scheme, Bath Housing Scheme, Bushlot New Era Housing Scheme, Waterloo Housing Scheme were all developed under PPP government. Go to those communities, they're all occupied. Young teachers, young public servants, young professionals are occupying those areas, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the area of education, I'm proud to say, under the PPP government led by Honorable Minister Priya Manichan, we have acquired universal education at the primary level. At the primary level. And very shortly, we will also achieve universal education at the secondary level. Mr. Speaker, during this period of pandemic, we have ensured that all of our schools are well equipped so as with the various protocol as it relates to the COVID pandemic. Mr. Speaker, in 2021, Mr. Speaker, unlike our colleagues in the APNU, AFC, our work program, every single community, every single NDC will benefit across the region. Every single NDC, whether it's Hamlet's Chance in Maiconi Branch Road, whether it's Seafield Tempe, Bath Waterloo, Zizite Rosagnol, all will benefit through the 2021 program. You know why? Because the Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, the Honorable Nigel Darmanal, has been going across and he sees what is happening. Mr. Speaker, in 5 years, many communities have not seen a minister of your government, have not seen a minister of your government. In less than 5 months, Mr. Speaker, Region 5 has had 62 ministerial visits across every community in Region 5. Mr. Speaker, in the Duhoop, Big Balbu area, no minister ever visited there. In less than 5 months, we had a number of ministers: Minister Zulfikar Mustafa, Minister Priya Manichan, Minister Juan Edil, Minister Nigel Damlal, Minister Susan Rogers, Minister Colin Cole, Minister Gail Teixeira, Minister Sonia, Minister, all our ministers visit. Our visit is not mere visit, it's serious business. Serious business. When the honorable minister goes in this community, they discuss, they interact, they listen to the communities, and they are able to develop based on these visits. Based on these visits, honorable members, that area will see electricity from number 10 to Big Baibu. 90% of the infrastructure work already completed. Drainage and irrigation. The honorable minister instructed that the machine should remain in that area. The honorable minister Priya Manichan, when you want to see commitment from an education minister, look at Priya Manichan, the honorable member. I have seen with my own eyes the honorable minister tracking between mud and slush, jumping on a boat to ensure that our children get their worksheet. Mr. Speaker, this is how we operated. Mr. Speaker, in sports, in less than 3 months, the honorable minister went to Region 5 and instructed that the number of grounds must be upgraded. Fairfield, Bad Settlement, D. Edward, Cotton Tree, and he makes sporting facilities available. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I am certain with Budget 2021, much more will come to Region 5. Mr. Speaker, I want to plead with my colleagues on the other side of the House. Let's join this process of development. Let us work together for the betterment of our country and our people. Mr. Speaker, it's given me great honor to commend and support Budget 2021 as presented by the Honorable Dr. Ashley Singh. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.